So, pivoting a little bit, Dustin, I know you read a lot and study a lot, and that's probably pretty important for your important work. Who are some of the people who you look up to?
Well, yeah, no, I'm humbled you'd say that. There's a lot of reading, a lot of education, a lot of learning along the way with this job, with racial equity work. But my whole life, I've really looked up to two individuals. First was Michael Jordan. His work ethic, his prowess, his perfection for the game of basketball, I loved and sort of idolized. And so I loved watching his greatness. And again, I'm a 90s baby, so I remember growing up watching him all the time on TV. The other person that over the years I've also really enjoyed watching, same idea, is Tiger Woods. His prowess for the game, his tenacity, and even now, sort of watching him play, just a reminder of being able to be down. He's had so many injuries, and to watch him come back and to fight. I truly look up to that. I love that spirit. So those are two people I've always sort of held in high esteem for myself. What about you? I mean, who are people that you've looked up to over the years?
Sure. So from my side, I don't know. I try to think about we're in pretty challenging times right now, and I'd like to read more about Abraham Lincoln because I know it's interesting to note that he was a Republican.
Yeah.
And was navigating some very difficult times in his short life, and I haven't read enough about him, but I want to read more.
Yeah.
On a more personal side, I look up to my mother, Connie Justice. She started the business Planson International about 30 years ago. Has been extremely dedicated to it, has raised us, me and my four sisters, along with my father, who also helped start the business. It's just really impressive that they've been able to craft that business in a way that it does good in the world and in the community and is interesting work.
Yeah, absolutely.
The last one that I'll throw out there is there are a lot of very dedicated residents in New Gloucester who for many years have been tirelessly working to develop the community, and that's been really impressive and is part of what has motivated me to get more involved.
No, I love the unsung heroes, right? The people who volunteer and don't even get the credit, right? Don't get the fame. So, no, that's a very good point. Well said. Well said.
Yeah, so, you're doing a lot of stuff. It takes a lot of energy. Kind of a couple questions related to that. Where do you get that energy, and what do you do to recharge and make sure it all stays fun?
Well, the first part is actually the funny question is I don't know sometimes where I get my energy. I think a lot of it comes from I like being around people. I draw a lot of energy from being with individuals and also to see them sort of succeed, to see them happy and see them joyful. And I think that's why my work in public service and the work that I do, I think comes so naturally. And so I draw a lot of energy from that. But you're right, after a while you get worn down and sometimes you need a place to sort of be peaceful and recharge. So a couple places I like to go. First is the golf course. That's a place where I can sort of put everything away, just concentrate on the game. Basketball court is the same way. I do like to sort of take a moment and just stand in my backyard. And that may sound odd, but I've always seen my home here in New Gloucester. We've been here going on 7 years, going on 8 years. I see my backyard as sort of my sanctuary. It's a place where I can sort of remove myself from the world and just pause and just enjoy the beauty of New Gloucester and everything else. So those are some of the places that I really find my peace and can kind of step away and recharge my batteries. And I know with all the work that you're doing, you must have some places that you can go that you can just feel at ease. Where are those for you, and what gets you motivated? What gets you going?
Mine are pretty similar, actually, and I bet a lot of New Gloucester residents would feel similarly, that we like our backyards or our fields or the woods that we get to enjoy outside. It is really rejuvenating and brings peace just walking through the woods or working in the garden or even mowing the lawn. I find to be pretty meditative.
Yep.
And similarly, interacting with people in new experiences and new challenges, sometimes it can be exhausting, but most of the time it is really energizing and exciting, and the challenges are fun, and just learning where everybody else is coming from.
Yeah.
You know, a unique thing about Maine is we've got a really strong work ethic.
Yeah.
And a lot of really hands-on businesses. And so anybody you bump into in Maine, I find you can find something that they're an expert on and that you can learn from.
Absolutely.
And those types of interactions I just cherish.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I think, you know, for me too, I find that every community I'm in, there are these nice little hubs, these places that you can go. You can find such both education, culture, and peace, right? Like every community has their own space for that, and I feel like here in New Gloucester, we've been able to navigate and find some of those, and find those people who we also draw from. So Maine's just such an interesting place, and so is New Gloucester, but Maine is just such an interesting state and a place. So
Yep.
yeah, absolutely.